Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. National Water Commission estimates $10 billion in relief and restoration efforts in Hurricane Melissa aftermath. More than 60,000 residents in Kingston and St. Andrew still without power. And later in sports, Jamaica to face Trinidad in a crucial World Cup qualifier. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carrie Simpson. Here are the details. $10 billion. That's the estimated cost of the relief and restoration efforts by the National Water Commission (NWC) following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Water Minister Matthew Samuda made the announcement a short while ago during a special press briefing at Jamaica House. Mr. Samuda says Cabinet has been briefed and the NWC has presented a comprehensive restoration and relief plan.
That plan includes clearing access to sites, temporary repairs to raw water transmission and distribution pipelines, installation of standpipes in communities without electric power where the water treatment plants in the area have power, trucking of water both through the Water Commission's own trucks and through members of Parliament and indeed the municipalities, office building repairs, purchase and rental of standby generators. This first phase of our restoration plan will cost 3.25 billion Jamaican dollars. And specifically, for your information, as I mentioned, clearing of access sites, temporary raw water pipelines, as in the case of Great River, as you'd see on the side of the road where we've had to retrofit a system, repair of major transmission mains, as in Lilliput, and in sections of St. Elizabeth where we would have had land slippage, which would have broken pipes, repairs of distribution mains, equipping secondary production centers with standby generators, trucking of water into communities with no supply, and very important, repairs to office buildings in the most affected parishes, which would have seen particular impact, as well as procurement, emergency procurement of all water trucks that are available in Ireland to increase our capacity to respond.
Works Minister Robert Morgan says the National Works Agency (NWA) has been making significant progress in clearing roads blocked following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. He noted that only 30 roads remain impassable, down from 396 immediately after the storm. However, Mr. Morgan assured that efforts are ongoing and the remaining blocked roads will soon be cleared.
The issue with the disaster is that sometimes you clear a road and it becomes blocked again, as was the case in sections of St. James over the last 48 hours, where we did clear a lot of the roads in St. James, such as Adelphi, but because of heavy rains, those roads became blocked again and we had to reopen. We have 123 roads that are 2 lanes and 248 that are single lanes. And as time goes by, you will see the number of block roads being reduced. Importantly, though, we can report that only 2 roads in Westmoreland, which is essentially a center of challenge, are blocked, though we have a lot of blocked roads in places like St. Elizabeth.
Meanwhile, at the same press briefing, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management (ODPEM) reported that the death toll from Hurricane Melissa remains at 45, with 9 cases under investigation and 13 people still missing. ODPEM also revealed that to date, 90,000 care packages have been distributed and more than 570,000 hot meals provided to residents in affected areas.
With parish operational hubs in St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, Kingston, St. James. Other hubs will be set up in Trelawney, Westmoreland and Hanover over the next 48 hours. The JDF also maintains some 22 disaster relief outposts and has completed some 207 flights to sustain air and ground logistics during the continued operations. Today, some 22 communities across St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland and Trelawney will be serviced. With an 88% rate of confidence, recent geospatial and radar-based analytics indicate an upward trend in the number of confirmed structures impacted as the assessment moves eastward. To date, approximately 960,000 buildings have been assessed. Of this total, some 191,000 buildings, or about 20% of those assessed, have sustained damage ranging from minor to severe.
Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, says more than 6,000 people in Kingston and St. Andrew are still without power after Hurricane Melissa. More in this report.
Although the parishes of Kingston and St. Andrew were spared the worst of the damage caused by Hurricane Melissa, it was not untouched. Rural areas such as Mavis Bank, Gordon Town, Lawrence Tavern, Irish Town, Stony Hill, among others, felt the intensity of the hurricane, causing landslides, downed trees, loss of roof and power outages. Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, says at least 2 communities were marooned.
I am advised by the Jamaica Public Service that as of Monday, November 10th, that is yesterday, approximately 6,160 customers in Kingston and St. Andrew remain without electricity. The majority of whom are in St. Andrew. JPS has reported that the major issues is access to parts of rural St. Andrew, but restoration efforts are ongoing and teams are working steadily towards full service.
He says the parish's Emergency Operations Center was fully activated ahead of the hurricane, with some 65 shelters housing close to 1,000 residents.
As of October 31st, all shelterees have since left the facilities. Some returned to their homes and others found comfort with relatives and friends.
In the meantime, Mayor Swaby says the KSAMC Disaster Relief Unit has launched a coordinated relief effort to assist with recovery in the West.
In times like these, we're reminded that Jamaica is one family. When one part of the island suffers, we all feel the pain. Councillors, in that spirit of unity and care, the KSAMC's Disaster Relief Unit has launched a coordinated relief effort to collect supplies for distribution to senior citizens and children's homes across the 6 parishes hardest hit by Hurricane Melissa.
O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
In the meantime, Mayor Swaby says with the passage of Hurricane Melissa, much of central government's resources will be directed toward national relief and recovery. He says as part of efforts to keep the municipal corporation financially resilient, there will be a revision of the services and facilities managed by the corporation. One such revision is market rental fees for the Constant Spring Arcade.
We will review corporate lease arrangement to ensure that the returns align more closely with the true value of the properties and the cost for their upkeep. These reviews will be done on a case-by-case basis. We do not intend to burden our tenants or partners, but we seek to improve the sustainability of the KSAMC's operation and ensure that we can continue to deliver quality public service.
To a TVJ News follow-up, while water has been restored in Catherine Hall, St. James, Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, says the community continues to be faced with several challenges. Among them is the lack of electricity.
We also had discussions surrounding the supply of power, and the Jamaica Public Service Company was ongoing to offer some assistance in partnership with the Jamaica Fire Brigade about how they can better prepare themselves for the restoration of power. Having been inundated by the floodwaters, the community has to take necessary steps to safeguard each household, as plugs will now have water in them, sockets with mud, and that has to be checked and double-checked, and the necessary experts be dispatched in the area to provide some guidance. Persons are actually bringing out their waste after we have passed those sections. So we are trying to streamline as best as possible, using all means of communication to get the community to coordinate along with the team that has been dispatched in the area to clean up.
As it relates to concerns about mosquitoes, he assured this is being dealt with.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness was here on ground, the St. James Health Services, to address those concerns, some pertaining to vector control. There is a schedule committed for fogging, and that will be done.
We want justice, the call from vendors in the Montego Bay market and taxi park as they continue to raise concerns with the Manchester Municipal Corporation over the time frame allotted for them to sell. Antonia Atkinson has the details.
The agriculture sector has been severely impacted after Hurricane Melissa destroyed farms and livestock. This has left many farmers and market vendors in limbo. Many vendors who travel from St. Anne, Clarendon, Trelawney, Southern Manchester, and St. Elizabeth say they're struggling to recover. Vendors who operate from the Mandeville market are faced with an additional hurdle: reduced selling hours. The municipal corporation initially announced revised selling hours from 6 p.m. Tuesday until 8 a.m. Wednesday. However, vendors complain business is slow at night due to a lack of electricity.
That cannot work for the vendor them in here. I will register for the market. Yesterday we go down a parish council and the manager said the CEO is not there and the mayor is not there.
We are suffering under the condition of what they are doing to us. They call a whole barrage of police on us a while ago.
So you have goods you're selling now? You have goods you're selling?
Yeah, we have goods selling.
6 in the evening.
Right.
Nobody is going to leave their homes during the night to come and shop.
No lights, no here.
And there is no light is here.
No light.
And we have to stare in the dark with a little flashlight or whatever. So they usually give us from 6 till 2 in the evening. Now they are saying from 6 till 8. How are we going to sell? Who are we going to sell to?
In response to the complaints, it was again adjusted to 4 p.m. Tuesday until 10 a.m. Wednesday. The vendors are also calling on local government Minister Desmond McKenzie for more consistent support to fully recover from the impact of Hurricane Melissa. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
After recent rains, residents of Swamp Road in Port Morand have been unable to access their homes. The residents point to long-standing drainage issues. Here's Alia Bryant.
After the passage of Hurricane Melissa, residents in St. Thomas have been experiencing persistent rainfall. Coupled with ongoing roadwork, this has caused significant flooding. In communities like Swamp Road, some residents have been unable to access their homes, plus there's been an increase in mosquito breeding sites. Member of Parliament for East St. Thomas, Rosemary Shaw, led a team on a tour of the area.
There have not been any drainage, and we have been saying it to them from before that here originally as a drain where all the water is back down to the end of stream of the river. So it caused this problem, lack of drainage, causing this every time the rainfall, flood out. I can't go in my yard, I have to go through my shop. I have to set up block because water rise high.
When I was here, them did just a mad it.
Yeah.
When we leave here from the 25th of we still come back once this is a mess.
Yeah.
Water circle up on the veranda, mosquito in there.
Yeah, man, I know the frustration.
Black oil, I come get and put on it. Black oil. Right now, this one's on black oil. My black oil, the whole yard and the drain as well.
Residents say they were told by the construction workers that they're not responsible for fixing the drains.
After a while, they came and they tarred the road a second time again. Same spacing right here, they tarred this spacing. And they haven't looked at any drainage, they haven't tried to reach out to anyone else.
And as a result,
they closed off some drains, some culverts have been blocked, and as a result of that, we're going to have to find some way to give the attention that is needed to ensure that the roadway is drained and the water flows freely towards the wetland.
Ms. Shaw says she has been in dialogue with the authorities responsible for the road work.
China Harbour is contracted to do this road, and I've spoken to the engineer who said that he's aware of the problem and they are going to take a look with a view to alleviating this problem. So I am sincerely hoping that that will be done in the shortest possible time, because what I need is result and for persons who are living around this area to be comfortable.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
It is time for a break. Stay with us, more stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It is now time for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, ExxonMobil Guyana has increased daily oil production in the Stabroek block to 900,000 barrels. The boost follows the startup of the Yellowtail project, now producing 250,000 barrels a day. ExxonMobil and partners Hess and Sinopec have invested over $60 billion in 7 offshore projects, with total capacity expected to reach 1.7 million barrels a day once all are online. And on the international scene, a federal judge has ordered the release of more than 600 people arrested in Illinois during the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Judge Jeffrey Cummings ruled that those detained in Operation Midway Blitz must be granted bond by November 21. The lawsuit, led by the ACLU and the National Immigrant Justice Center, accused federal agents of violating a prior settlement on warrantless arrests. Homeland Security criticized the ruling, saying it puts Americans at risk. The decision follows mounting tensions over immigration raids and alleged racial profiling in Chicago. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aliyah Bryant.
And in the Business Minute, Jamaica's largest banana and plantain farmer, JP Farms, has reported almost complete destruction of its St. Mary operations following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. Initial assessments show that Hurricane Melissa caused an estimated near 100% loss across the company's banana and plantain farms. Although St. Mary avoided a direct hit, prolonged high winds from hurricane outer bands flattened crops that were still recovering from Hurricane Beryl. Now, despite the devastation, Pan Jamaica Group, parent company of JP Farms, has pledged to immediately invest in recovery efforts. This follows a $250 million injection last year to restart production and restore profitability after Beryl's impact. And we now head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your Midday Sports Report.